This is the Good Government Show.
I'm a retail pharmacist by trade.
Okay.
And as an elected official, I've been mayor and village council member. Studies show that we only have about 50% of our children enrolled in appropriate child care. Getting a seat at the table is really important.
Sure.
But our economic development team sees that as a priority. Okay. So I think that's exciting. Be a real person, be a responsible person. Good government is when you're going to use resources wisely to benefit your community. They should know that we're slow even though we don't want to be, because we have to be very transparent, and transparency takes time. I'm an impatient person. I want it to be done today.
Welcome to the Good Government Show. I'm your host, Dave Martin. On this episode, we talk with Shelby County Commissioner Julie Ehemann. It's our mission to highlight the ways government works and works well. So let's meet Commissioner Ehemann. She got into politics and government in kind of a different way. She looked at what her small village council was doing and said, I can do better than that. She ran and won. Then she became the village mayor. Now she's been on the county commission for 13 years. She talks about how her county in central Ohio is hiring. They have an underemployment problem there, and she'll tell you she can hook you up. And maybe you could build Airstream trailers. They're made right in her county. Airstreams, that's pretty cool. Her current passion is creating more child care, places where parents can get care for their kids, but also opportunities for people to create more child care facilities. And she's working with some of those local businesses to help them create programs for their workers' kids. And she'll explain all that. Commissioner Ehemann also spearheaded a project to improve overall emergency communication between all the county's first responders. Certainly, it's good government when all the government agencies can talk to each other, especially when it's critical. And we like that. So let's go to Shelby County. It's a small rural county in western central Ohio, but I'm glad to report there's good government there. And that's coming up after this. The Good Government Show is sponsored by Ourco. That means our community. Ourco has found a way to make government more effective. Ourco provides the OUR platform, and this is an app that blends in-person and digital interactions to connect people with their government, their county, their town, their state. The Ourco app transforms meaningful conversations into reliable data. They can turn results into projects and programs the community has essentially already approved. It's sort of like a flash poll by phone, but without the call and in real time and wherever community members are. Maybe they're at their house or their office or where they're out just talking about local issues. Maybe the choice is between putting in more local buses or expanding the bike lanes. Ourco can get you an answer immediately. With OUR, you can engage your citizens or any group, learn what they want, and build programs and policies that advance your county, your job creators, your constituents. So visit ourco.com, that's OURCO.com, and learn how they do it. And while you're there, book a demonstration. Welcome to the Good Government Show. We have our guest from Shelby County, Ohio. If you would introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Julie Ehemann, and I am a commissioner in Shelby County. I've been an elected official for 30 years and a commissioner.
30 years.
30 years and a commissioner since 2012.
What were you before this?
I'm a retail pharmacist by trade.
Okay.
And as an elected official, I've been mayor and village council member.
You're a mayor and village council member, and now you're a county commissioner.
Yes.
Which job is better?
The county commissioner.
Why?
We've got a lot more resources.
Yeah.
When you're working in a small community, you just don't have the resources, so you're just trying to get by every day. And as a county commissioner, there's a lot more opportunities to actually do something.
Where is Shelby County?
Shelby County is on the west side of Ohio. We have I-75 that runs right through us, so I am 100 miles north of Cincinnati and 100 miles south of Toledo.
Gotcha. Okay. What's going on in Shelby County? What are the issues you're dealing with?
We're dealing with low unemployment is a problem because I don't have enough people to work in all of the manufacturing that I have in my community.
What kind of manufacturing do you have?
I have a Honda engine plant. I have the iconic Airstream motorhomes.
Oh, they make those there?
Yeah.
Do you have an Airstream?
I do not have an Airstream. I'm not much a camper in that way. I like the hotel life a little bit more than camping.
All right.
but people love the Airstreams. They are beautiful.
They are.
They are beautiful and
iconic and
yes,
all that.
Yes, and so then I have.
Is that the main or the only Airstream factory?
That is the only Airstream factory.
Every Airstream comes from there.
Every Airstream comes out of Jackson Center, Ohio.
Oh, okay.
It's pretty.
Have you been
awesome.
Inside some of the really beautiful, beautiful ones? Just
yes,
at events and stuff.
And Airstream loves to give tours. They give daily tours to their facility.
Really?
And they have a wonderful museum right on site, so people can go through and see how the Airstream has developed over the years, and just learn about the manufacturing of it.
All right, but you've never had an Airstream yourself?
No.
Okay. So what else other than Airstream? What else is being made?
I did say Honda engines, right?
Yep.
Okay, and we have Cargill, which is a soybean crushing facility. It's the largest one east of the Mississippi. So then we've got a lot of auto suppliers because they supply Honda with a lot of components.
So you have an underemployment problem.
I have an underemployment problem. I need workforce. So in our community.
So if you need a job, come to Shelby County, Ohio.
I will hook you up immediately. Yes.
You heard that from the county commissioner. Okay. At all levels?
Oh, yeah. Anything from working one of the assembly lines to engineers to robotics.
Wow.
It's all needed in my community. So,
okay. Are there a lot of folks that come, are a lot of people moving into your county?
We do not have a lot of people moving in. We do have a plus every day of people that come in and work in our community versus living in our community. We do have the largest number of persons engaged in manufacturing per capita in the state, in my county.
Is that a challenge to have an influx of people during the day when you don't have the budget, infrastructure, personnel to manage?
Yes.
Right?
Yes. There's been some talk at the state level on making it so that cities can't collect income tax from people that don't live there, and our city would lose 50% of their income.
Oh.
Because of all of the people that work in their community and have to pay an income tax to them.
Right. So when I live in New York City, and people who live in Long Island have to pay a New York City tax on their paycheck, and they're like, why do I have to pay that? I don't live in New York.
Yes, because you have we need that help in road infrastructure and water and sewer infrastructure, safety services. So that's part of what their income helps pay for while they're in our community.
And we talked a little bit before we turned the mics on, and you mentioned childcare. This is an issue that you've been working on?
It is an issue I'm working on. Studies show that we only have about 50% of our children enrolled in appropriate childcare.
Yeah.
So one of the exciting things that we did was partner with our local YMCA, and we converted the lower level of our county nursing home into a childcare facility.
Oh.
And so the Y has 56 children there.
Is it full?
It's not full.
Okay.
But we
Is it free?
No, it's not free. It's
Okay.
not free. Childcare is not free.
Is it affordable or subsidized in some way? I mean,
they are part of a program so that if someone is low income and they're eligible for subsidies, then they can use those subsidies with the YMCA.
okay.
And so we do have children of all income ranges in there. But for someone who's paying on their own, it's about $600 to $700 a month for their child's care at the Y.
It's been a long time since I had childcare. Is that a lot? A little?
When you compare it to urban markets, it's less.
Yeah.
But, if you talk about a mortgage payment, just my daughter as an example has 2 children in childcare, that's a mortgage payment.
Okay. What other things are you trying to do?
Well, I'm trying to grow the childcare realm. I really want some of those industry that I talked about to acknowledge that they might have a little less of a workforce issue if there were places for people to take their children. So I'm working on that.
Are any of these industries, do they have any child care at the facilities yet?
No.
All right.
No.
That's what you're working on.
That's what I'm working on. That's what I'm working on.
Do you have to strong arm these folks a little bit, or?
Getting a seat at the table is really important.
Sure.
But our economic development team sees that as a priority.
Okay.
So I think that's exciting that it's at least being recognized as a problem.
Okay.
And if I'm trying to attract people to come to my community,
right,
and they have small children, they're not going to come if I don't have a place for their children to be taken care of.
Just get one of the big Airstreams and throw like 5 kids in there. See, this is a solution, right?
The state has all these ratios and licensing requirements. So
you don't think an Airstream would work?
like you say, for 5.
Yes.
5 kids, it might be enough space.
All right.
But there are hurdles. So
Sure.
So we're trying
that
to
time would be fun.
We're trying to navigate the hurdles. I've got an entity called 4C for Children that is kind of a matchmaker situation, and we used part of our ARPA funds to contract with 4C for Children, so they are educating people on how to run it as a business, helping them get licensed. We're giving them a stipend, so if they need cots or educational materials or something like that through the ARPA dollars they can get a stipend to get their business going.
So it sounds like you're making some progress.
I think so, because we've got some home centers that are moving forward. We've got this situation at the Y. We had another center open up. So there's some progress. It's slow. I'm an impatient person. I want it to be done today.
And yet you still work in government.
Yes. It's become a passion for me to just see how I can improve my community and make things better for my residents.
All right. What other projects are you working on?
How about emergency communications infrastructure?
Well, you certainly need to be able to talk to people on the radios.
Yes, a lot of the public doesn't realize that their fire and EMS and sheriff and police need to be able to talk to dispatch, and it's a struggle if they're in a building or if they're in a remote part of our county. So we're putting up 5 new towers, getting all new radios with this state-of-the-art radio system. We've been working on this project for about 3 to 4 years, so it's just coming out of our general fund money.
Okay.
So we've been saving for it and planning for it.
All right. And how is that going to, when it's done, what will you have?
I will have 5 towers, and I will have, as I said, EMS and the police and fire. Even our school systems will be able to communicate with dispatch, because we added an extra channel so that they can opt in and have immediate communications with dispatch.
And they'll all be able to talk to each other. Right, because sometimes the firemen are on one frequency and the cops are on another, and they
can't talk to each other. No, we've made it so that everybody can talk to each other.
Is there one fire department and one police department in your county?
I have 9 municipalities in my community.
Okay.
So
what's the biggest city? The
biggest city is Sydney, and it's about 20,000 people.
Okay.
So the entire county is a little over 48,000.
Oh, so that's half.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll be on the same frequency?
Well, the city has their own system, but it will match into the counties.
All right.
So we've made
thought this through.
We spent a lot of time on this.
Okay.
When you're talking about mapping and seeing where you're at in part of the county, and can I talk to this one, and can they hear me, and just all sorts of testing is going on currently right now to make sure that the new system is doing what it's supposed to do. So the radios are not in the hands of the entities yet, but that is within the next month or so.
Have you heard from the police departments or the fire departments or the EMS folks to talk about the plan, and are they excited about what's coming their way?
You know what? Once they get their hands on that radio and they see what it's going to do for them, they are very excited. Very excited.
Every time I look around or I look up, I see a cop standing there on his phone. How important is radio communication when everybody's got a cell phone in their hand?
Well, you don't talk to the dispatch on that phone. Because they need you on the radio so that they can multitask at the same time too. And if you're at a fire scene and you're on your phone, the other fireman doesn't hear you.
Okay.
But if you're on the radio, the other firemen hear you. This is, it's broadcast through everybody, and so everybody's communicating with each other at one time.
That's the goal, anyway.
That's the goal. That's the goal.
Tell me about Shelby. What brings people there?
We just have a wonderful community where wonderful schools, great educational system for people. We've really been working on placemaking so that people can see what we do have as available. We've got a small lake, and camping is a great opportunity there for people.
You don't camp, you already said.
No, I don't camp. I don't camp.
Okay, fair enough.
But the community is growing. We don't have a whole lot of retail, but we've got nice shops and wonderful sporting activities.
Do you have a housing issue with not enough housing for people to move in if they
We've been really trying to address that. So we've got some housing growth going on. It's not enough.
Yeah.
But there's really a concentrated effort to get that housing and affordable housing. For years, if you had the money, sure, you could go build your McMansion someplace.
Right.
And so we have a lot of, to some degree, upper level housing, but we need that workforce housing and those young families that are just getting established. We need the workforce housing for them.
Well, it sounds
and
like
those are our goals right now. Housing that's affordable for that segment of our population.
Well, it sounds like you're saying you're underemployed and you've got a lot of manufacturing there. I would imagine that there is a real need for affordable housing, especially for first-time home buyers, that sort of thing.
Yes, and there is. And over the years, the state of Ohio had a lot of funding available to get rid of blight, and so we have a great land bank that has really addressed removing the unsightly and uninhabitable places. So our next step is to rebuild on some of those properties and do some infill in some of those neighborhoods. And that's a goal.
Is there stuff you can do on the county level that makes that happen easier, faster, smoother?
Well, the land bank is a partnership basically between the county and the villages and cities.
Okay.
So I do sit on the land bank, and we get to develop policy and target areas that we think are going to be beneficial for the community.
So you said you were trained as a pharmacist. What made you decide to go into, I think you said first city council and then mayor and then county commission?
When my daughter was an infant, my girlfriend and I would be walking in the evenings, and we were talking about, oh gosh, did you see what they did at the village council? My gosh, I could do that good. So she's like, we should run, and so kind of on a whim, I ran. And
did she run too?
She ran for school board. I ran for village council. She did not win. I did. So
are you still friends?
Yeah, we're still friends.
All right.
Life has kind of taken us in different directions, but we're still friends.
Okay.
So I got started with village council, and after 5 years, our mayor resigned, and I happened to be the president. So
you worked your way up to president of the council?
Yeah. So the way it works, if you're president of council and your mayor resigns, you're immediately the mayor.
Oh, all right.
And I did that for 12 years.
So you obviously then you stood for election.
Yes.
Okay.
And then I did. Then I just.
What was that like when you suddenly were the mayor? Were you prepared?
No. No.
I want to stress. No, I was not prepared.
No, I was not prepared.
Okay.
But for one thing, I'm like, I don't want to be the mayor. You don't have a vote.
Yeah.
If you do have a vote, you're breaking a tie, and you don't win no matter what. Now you don't win, right?
Half the people are going to hate you.
But as a mayor, you have to learn to use influence. And I think that's helpful on the county commissioner board when there's 3 of you too, because you learn how to talk to them and create your argument in a positive way. And so that's been a lot of what I've had to do. And I think that's part of being a successful elected official, is being able to communicate with people and give them your feeling without being abrasive about it.
And the leap from mayor to county commission, how'd that come about?
Well, I was feeling kind of stale as the mayor. I'm like, I just don't see me going anywhere with this.
Yeah.
And I was looking for greater opportunities. And at the time, I was able to go to my boss and say, you know what, I'd like to transition a part-time pharmacist and do this other job part-time. And they were very supportive. So I was very lucky that way, that they were supportive of me running for county commissioner.
All right.
And then after a couple of years, I'm like, I think I just need to do county commissioner. So that's what I do full-time now.
All right. And it's a full-time job?
It's a full-time job.
When's your next re-election?
2 years.
All right. Will
yes,
you be running for
with
re-election?
the presidential cycle.
All right. Will you be running again in 2 years' time?
I haven't totally decided.
Well, do you want to make the big reveal here on the Good Government Show? You're welcome to.
I haven't decided, because I am losing my 2 commissioners here, and I think it'll just depend on how the environment is, and am I still feeling like I'm getting something done and I'm progressing the community.
One of the things I've heard from different people is that being in government and being in politics is a lot less fun than it used to be. Do you find that?
Being in pharmacy was a lot less fun.
Okay.
So
but there's certainly a huge partisan divide in the country.
Yeah, but at the county level, we don't get into that partisan divide.
You don't? Okay.
No. I have a great team of elected officials that, for the most part, get along and play well in the sandbox together.
That's helpful.
It's very helpful.
And that's one of the things I keep hearing about county government is that
and I think
it's a little less partisan.
But if you're in one of those environments where it's very partisan or you're not getting along with your elected officials, I could see where it's a real struggle. But I've just been very fortunate that everybody comes to the table as a team and it's not all in it for me.
Okay. Well, that leads us to our questionnaire. As fate would have it, it was fate that one day in Kansas City, I met the mayor of Fate, Texas, and together we host a new podcast, As Fate Would Have It. Really, that's the name of the show, As Fate Would Have It. Mayor David Billings and I talk about the issues in the city of Fate. One of the things I've learned so far is that David is not leaving the city's future to fate. He's actively planning for the future. The show's an inside look at how one mayor runs a city in Texas. Fate is part of the Dallas Metroplex. That means it's a rapidly growing city. With that comes the need for more housing, expanding city services, and mostly managing growth. Listen to how a growing city grows, and they're not leaving it up to fate. And see, I did it again. Just listen to how many ways I worked the word fate into the conversation. That's As Fate Would Have It, with me, your host, and my co-host, the mayor of Fate, David Billings. Oh, and we do talk a little Texas football, and of course, Texas barbecue. That's As Fate Would Have It. Listen right where you're listening now. We have a questionnaire here on the Good Government Show, and this is going to get to the heart of what you really think of government. Are you ready?
I guess so.
All right, here we go. You were on the village council, you were a mayor, and now you're a county commissioner. Define good government.
Good government is when you're going to use resources wisely to benefit your community.
That simple?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would anyone argue with that?
I don't see how they could. I mean, they may have a different vision.
Yeah.
But we're all supposed to be looking out for all of our residents and seeing how we can build things up. So that's what it's about. It's about building things up. I look at, when I'm talking about childcare, I'm looking at the children. Are they going to be ready for kindergarten? Are they in a safe environment? I look at the moms. Are they able to have confidence that their children are going to be safe? And are they going to be able to go pursue their dreams in employment or whatever else it might be?
How do you judge your success or conversely lack thereof?
If projects come to fruition in the way that you had hoped they would, then I've been successful. If a wastewater treatment plant comes in at or under budget and it's efficient and it does what we planned for it to do, that was a success.
Sometimes your vision has to change in the planning process. Have you found that to be true?
Sometimes you get a slap upside the head that says that this isn't going to work.
Yeah.
So yeah, sometimes you have to change. It's minor adjustments usually. It's not like wholesale change.
All right.
Well, if that didn't work, let's try this.
Okay. How do you think people know if they're getting good government? And other than, the election every 4 years, how should they hold you accountable?
Well, I would think that they would, number one, don't bring drama to the job.
All right, now you did this.
Don't bring drama.
You must defy drama.
Okay, well, say someone gets pulled over and they're on tape saying to the officer, "Do you know who I am?"
Yes.
Okay, well, you don't use your position to benefit yourself in that way.
Okay.
So that's drama. Don't do that,
Just be a person. Just be real.
Be a real person. Be a responsible person.
Okay. And how should they hold you accountable?
Well, if they would see me out creating drama, spending money inappropriately, then I should be held accountable. But if I'm working towards the betterment of the community and they can see the projects that we're doing and seeing that we're following the rules to get those projects done, I'm not playing favorites with a particular contractor or things like that. I think that's holding me accountable.
Okay. And if they disagree with you, what should they do? What would you like people to do?
Call me.
Is your number here on your card? Should I give it out?
Seriously, we always, my fellow commissioners and I are always like, we're in session. Come see us, make an appointment if that doesn't work, call us, because we want to know what the issues are in our community. I have some people that say, well, you never talk to me. And I'm like, well, if I don't see you, I don't know what your problem is.
Right.
So if we have a problem, let's talk about it.
You could, however, spend all your day just talking to people who are complaining.
Honestly, I get less phone calls as a commissioner than I did as the mayor.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. Mm-hmm. Do you want me to give your number out so maybe you can get a few more calls?
You can give my email. How's that?
All right. I'll leave that to you. Okay. As an elected official, you've been elected at different levels. What should people know about how government works?
They should know that we're slow, even though we don't want to be, because we have to be very transparent, and transparency takes time. When you're going to, at the village level, when you had to read a resolution 3 times unless it was an emergency, so that the community knew what you were doing.
Right.
That takes time. So they need to understand.
Does it frustrate you?
Sometimes, yes. When you're doing projects and you have to go advertise for bids, and you have to go through that bidding process, where it'd be nice to just call up a couple contractors and say, hey, send me some quotes so I can compare them.
Yeah.
But when the project's big enough and you have to go through the bidding process, it's long and it's detailed. And if you want to vacate an alley, you have to have hearings. That takes time. But it's all about being transparent to your community.
And you have to get a survey, and you have to
you have to do all of that stuff.
Impact statements.
There's all of this paperwork that goes through it to make sure that what you're doing is fair to the entire community.
Well, I was going to ask, does it have to be? I mean, from your point of view, do you think that all those speed bumps are necessary?
Some of them are.
Yeah.
Yeah. As you said, it holds you accountable. If you're going through that bidding process, the community knows, okay, everybody was told about the project. They didn't try to sweep it under the rug and push it through without anybody knowing, so that their buddies could get it. So if you're advertising, it lets everybody out there know, okay, here's an opportunity that I can get engaged in.
Okay. Other than your fellow mom, your friend, who inspired you to get into government? Who's your political hero?
I have a former mayor that was really encouraging.
Yeah.
Yes. There's just been people along the way that have really inspired me. When I was the mayor and I got to speak at a dedication for a new library, a state senator came, because she was very passionate about the historical marker situation that was going on. And she took me off to the side and encouraged me to get into a women's government leadership program. And she basically said that at each level, she felt like she got further away from the public and understanding what the needs were. And so I've kind of taken that advice from her that, let's not move up just for the sake of moving up. If what I'm doing is impactful at my community, I don't feel the need to just look at the next step up. I'm comfortable where I'm at because I feel like I'm being impactful to my community.
Anyone like in the history of the Republic, like that you point to or think that like there's someone inspiring? There's certainly a lot.
There is. And so how do you pick?
I don't know Roosevelt. I don't know.
How about Abraham Lincoln?
Okay.
Who, got beat up every day.
Yes.
But had a vision and was totally immersed in making sure that the country stayed together.
When you were growing up, did you envision a career as a politician? Did you want to be president? Were you student monitor, student council? Nothing?
I had the worst public speaking skills in high school. Like if my classmates from high school would actually see what the work I'm doing, a lot of them would be like, "How'd that happen?"
Did you grow up in the county?
I grew up in an adjoining county, so there's just enough distance. I can go back home, see my mom real easy.
Okay.
But there's just enough distance so that a lot of people.
Do you run into people from that you grew up with? And they're like, "Oh, I'm a county commissioner. You're what?" Does that happen?
Not really, but...
Okay. All right. So You told me that you're 100 miles away from Cincinnati. I went to Cincinnati once, and I had Cincinnati chili.
Okay.
Are you a Cincinnati chili fan?
No.
Do you get it?
I make my own chili.
Yeah.
And it's how my mom made it.
All right. Is Cincinnati chili, and if you don't know, Cincinnati chili is chili over spaghetti?
Right. But
one way, two way, three way?
That's 100 miles south of me.
That doesn't get north to you?
No.
Okay.
No.
So what is the best dish in
we
Shelby
like to
County?
eat fried chicken and pork tenderloin sandwiches. Seriously.
You can't go wrong with deep fried chicken.
Not at all.
No.
Not at all. Fried chicken and pork tenderloin sandwiches.
Explain a pork tenderloin sandwich.
Well, the loin is rolled so that it's pretty flat.
Okay.
And then it's breaded, and then it's deep fried.
All right. More deep fry.
More deep fry. Which I don't eat a whole lot of fried food, but that is just Shelby County, okay?
All right.
That is just Shelby County.
So if I'm coming to Shelby County, that's what we're having. Deep fried pork sandwiches.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Yes, I can do that. I know you've talked about a few of them. We are the Good Government Show, so we like to bring it back to a good government project. Tell me about a good government project that you've been involved in over the last few years that was, a good success.
You're putting me on the spot now, aren't you?
That's what we do here.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, the child care. I'm going to say that was one of the greatest days of my life when we cut the ribbon for that.
Okay.
Because I really felt like I'm helping impact families directly.
Sure.
A lot of what government is protecting your resources and taking care of the infrastructure at the county level.
Okay.
So over the years, we've invested necessary money into our jail. And we've invested money into a transitional treatment situation where persons are leaving our jail.
So you keep forgetting about good government projects. Yeah. You're pretty good.
The Star House stands for the Sheriff's Treatment and Recovery. And individuals that have addiction issues that have kind of got them under control while they're in jail, and now they're stepping out and they don't have good resources, they move over into the Star House and they continue their treatment with their addictions, and they're required to get a job, and they learn financial responsibilities, and they're getting all their counseling while they're there, and they're building their resources so that they're getting their fines paid off. They're getting their driver's license. And so then they're going to find safe, affordable housing for themselves or their families if they're reuniting with their families. And then they move out of the Star House and become producing members of our community.
Okay.
And that's another goal.
All right. Well, Julie Ehemann, of Shelby County Commissioner, thank you so much for stopping by, and it's great to have you.
Thank you for having me.
I want to tell you what our friends at the LHD Academy of Science are doing. The LHD Academy is the National Association for Local Health Department Data Collectors. Through the Academy of Science, county health directors are coming together to measure their county health issues the same way. Here's the problem. There are over 3,000 counties in the U.S., and they all count differently. We live in a data-driven world. We need all the public health data to be counted the same. Let's say you want to see if your community is overweight, or vaping, or in other ways less healthy than your neighboring counties. To determine this, you'll need to measure these problems the same. You also have to ask the same questions, different results, but same data points. LHD Academy is working with the National Center for Disease Control, creating a standard to count and collect data the same way. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. They create the process and make sure everyone is looking at the information the same way. This means a county in Connecticut can compare their data with a county in California. It's apples to apples. Now, with the LHD Academy, counties and other governments are pooling resources and sharing data and creating a huge database library. That means lower costs, more accurate results, and better information for everyone. Sound like good government, right? If this sounds like something you want to get for your county or your city, check them out at lhdacademyofscience.org. That's lhdacademyofscience.org. What is it that county government does? That's the question county commissioners get asked the most, and the simple answer is everything. On the Good Government Show, we're so lucky to have talked with so many county commissioners and other county officials that have shown us how effective county government is. County government dates back to, get this, 1634, making it one of the oldest forms of government in the United States. Think about it. Roads, highways, hospitals, schools, recycling, law enforcement, water, sewers, and most of the county, those services are maintained by the county. That's county government. The National Association of Counties represents all 3,069 counties across the USA. NACo helps county government work better together through things like sharing best practices. When county government works well, that's just good government. Commissioner Ehemann says you have to use your resources wisely to benefit the community. That's her simple definition of good government. You know what? That works. When there's not enough money to go around, and there's never enough money to go around, watching where the money goes and how it's spent is crucial to creating good government. And we like that here in the Good Government Show. So that's my conversation with Shelby County Commissioner Julie Ehemann, first a mom, then a village councilwoman, then a mayor, and now a county commissioner. Thanks for listening to another example of how government does work for all of us. So please like us and share us with your friends and review us right here where you're listening. And check out our website, thegoodgovernmentshow.com, for extras. Help us keep telling stories of good government in action everywhere. Join us again for another episode right here. I'm Dave Martin, and this is The Good Government Show. The Good Government Show is a Valley Park production. Jim Ludlow, Dave Martin, that's me, and David Snyder are the executive producers. Our show is edited and produced by Jason Stershic. Please subscribe, then share us, and like us and review us. That's the best way to make sure we're able to keep telling these stories of our government working for all of us. Then listen to the next episode of The Good Government Show.